Welcome. Brace yourself for a journey into the unknown. In just moments, you will be drawn into a world of darkness, mystery, and spine-chilling tales. Something eerie lurks just beyond your sight, and you won't be able to look away. Stay with us. Follow the story to the end, because what lies ahead may haunt you long after. Are you ready to face the fear? Enjoy the experience. And now, let us begin, dear seeker of shadows. The Escape from Alcatraz, a horror tale. Alcatraz Island, once a military fort and later a maximum security prison, stood in isolation on the cold, unforgiving waters of the San Francisco Bay. The dark, looming structure of the prison loomed like a Gothic castle, its iron bars and jagged edges cutting into the thick mist that often surrounded the island. The inmates spoke in hushed whispers of the strange, almost haunted nature of Alcatraz. It wasn't just the unforgiving guards or the brutal conditions that terrified them. There was something sinister about the place itself. In the early 1960s, one of Alcatraz's most notorious prisoners, Frank Morris, sat in his cell late one night, staring at the cracked walls around him. The cold, unrelenting concrete felt like it was closing in on him. The rhythmic clinking of chains from the guards outside and the muffled moans of other prisoners echoed through the darkened halls. But Frank wasn't like the others. He wasn't going to stay imprisoned in this hellish nightmare forever. In the deepest shadows of his cell, hidden from the prying eyes of the guards, Frank began his twisted work. He discovered that the prison's walls, built to be impenetrable, were not as invulnerable as they seemed. Slowly, over the course of months, Frank carefully scraped away the plaster from his cell's back wall. Each night, he worked with a grim determination, using rudimentary tools he had crafted from the objects around him. He wasn't just digging a hole, he was chiseling his own path to freedom or death. But there was something odd about this escape. The night was growing colder, darker, as though the prison itself was aware of Frank's plan and was trying to keep him inside its grasp. Strange whispers echoed through the damp corridors, voices calling his name, trying to pull him back. Yet Frank pushed on, ignoring the unsettling sounds, driven by his desperation to escape. Frank wasn't alone in his escape. Two other inmates, John Anglin and Clarence Anglin, brothers with a reputation for deviousness, joined him in the plot. Together, the trio crafted an eerie, macabre plan. They used cardboard, paint, and human hair to create lifelike dummies of themselves, positioning them in their cells to deceive the guards. It was a grotesque deception, made all the more chilling by the thought that the dummies could be mistaken for the prisoners themselves, their eyes forever frozen in a lifeless gaze. On the night of the escape, the prison seemed almost alive. The air was thick with tension as Frank, John, and Clarence crawled through the hole in the wall, inching their way through the narrow tunnels and pipes. They were moving through a living nightmare, surrounded by the forgotten remnants of past escapes. Their movements echoed in the silent, dank underbelly of the prison. The walls seemed to shift, and shadows seemed to grow darker, as if the very structure of Alcatraz was trying to swallow them whole. With their escape plan in motion, they reached the roof. But that was only the beginning. The island was alive with danger. The harsh winds whipped around them, and the waters of the bay roared in the distance, an ominous reminder of the deadly currents that could drag them to a watery grave. They had to cross the treacherous waters to reach the mainland, but the ghosts of the past seemed to follow them. Was there something in those dark, churning waters waiting for them? The escape was flawless, or so they thought. Days passed, and the guards on Alcatraz Island discovered the deception. The dummies, perfectly placed, had fooled everyone, but by then the three men were already long gone, or so the authorities believed. The escape was a sensation, but the mystery deepened. Despite an extensive search, no trace of the men was found. Were they dead, swallowed by the merciless sea, or had they somehow made it to freedom? To this day, the mystery of the Alcatraz escape lingers. Some say the prisoners died in the cold, unforgiving waters, their bodies lost forever to the depths. Others believe they made it out and lived to see freedom. But the whispers around Alcatraz persist. At night, when the wind howls across the island, those who are brave enough to venture near the prison say they can still hear the faint, eerie sounds of chains rattling, of voices calling from beyond the walls. And some even claim to see the shadows of men, Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin, moving silently through the mist, their eyes forever staring into the darkness.